Hello. Okay, we're just getting set up here. I think all of that happened actually at the same time today, which is kind of impressive to me. So I'm just going to give a couple minutes here to see if people are signing on. And in the meantime, welcome to Community Yoga. I'm Michele. This is just a 45-minute tension release and finding a release in your breath. It's just the beginning of a yoga class I teach called Yoga Narada. And we're just going to go through kind of letting muscular tension go, trying to release a little bit of stress in the body, and, just getting in touch with where you feel tense and tight. Maybe you're doing something else today for exercise, and this can help you focus on whatever you need to. And we'll give a shout out to Alliance for a Living Ocean because they're a great local business. Okay, so we are just going with the flow. We're going to come down on the floor. So you're sitting in a comfortable position here. You can cross your feet. You can bring your feet forward so that there's this little diamond shape, or you can bring your feet out a little bit. You can sit up on a bolster or a pillow, all of that good stuff. You can, if you're used to doing this by sitting in a chair or a stool, the October series on YouTube has that for the whole month, and so you can look back into the playlist. But right now, let's go ahead and find a nice comfortable posture. We're gonna just relax into our sitting bones. We want to feel the weight of our sits bones into the floor, finding a nice sense of a plumb line here. So we don't want any tension in the thighs or the hips or the lower back. If you feel tension there because of tightness or whatever other reason, you want to rise yourself up a little bit off the floor. So we always try to not use props, but sometimes you really need to. So we're just going to find the sits bones as a guide. We're using our bones to stack through our posture so that the muscles can organize around that. We don't want to feel that the muscles are fighting and pulling, because they can and they will, right? That's their job. So we want to make sure everything sort of meshes together with the anatomical correctness and posture in the body, giving space for your organs and your shoulders and, all of that stuff that just feels easier. We're going to also think of our tail. So I talk about the tail all the time. We're lengthening from the top of your sacrum, from the top of your tailbone. Feel that you have a nice long dinosaur tail, like a brontosaurus tail, lengthening down really far away, and then it sweeps out behind you, right? And if you've ever been to the Museum of Natural History, you'll know exactly what that looks like in real life. So we're going to just find that release all the way down. Let's take both hands to the top of the head. We're just resting the palms on the crown of the head here. Relaxing the shoulders. You can close your eyes and feel the breath drop down. So you just feel a sense of coordination between the top and the bottom of the spine here. We're just going to feel a little bit of that plumb line. Keep your breath focused and release your palms to relax down around your sides. Obviously, you feel a lightness through the crown of the head. And then we're just going to continue to let that breath drop down into the base of your belly, releasing into the base of your spine. And we're also starting to bring our focus internally into your body, releasing any external thoughts or tensions. And then we're just going to gently open the eyes, take the palms together, and just start to glide forward and back, feeling that your breath comes up into your hands here. We're letting the fingers be nice and soft, just gliding and moving and breathing in between, feeling a nice sense of energy come up into the hands. And then we're going to separate the palms and feel the energy, that little buzzing between your hands. Feel that your breath inside your body helps expand that energy out through the palms into the space around you. So we're going to use the breath just to sort of yawn and move wherever it feels good to move through. What you want to focus on is a sense of feeling that you can expand in any direction into the space around you. So you're expanding up above, down below, around the sides, behind your body, of course, in front of our bodies too, right? So this is just sort of a way to move through the crevices, yawning and releasing and breathing. Feel also that sense of breath inside your body is moving. That's your impetus for movement. So we don't have to, we're starting to focus from the inside, not the outside. We're going to reach out through the palms, gather that energy from the space around, and just take that hover over your face, over your eyes, feeling that warmth and energy, and then just wash it over the face around the eyes. So we're just breathing into that, finding a nice sense of calmness and release that washes over the face. And then we'll take our middle fingers into the brow bone. So right on the bone, we're going to exhale and carve from the inside to the outside with a little lift up into our hairline. And again, so we're relaxing the face and breathing into this massage and feeling that nice lifting up. Also, if you're, especially when we get into the spring season, flushing through these areas are really, really helpful. Just sort of helping your body release anything that's holding onto the lymph. Now we'll take our index fingers, little bending. Now we're going under the eyes along the orbital bone. So we're flushing under the eyes, and we again lift up towards the hairline. We're going to take a nice exhale. So we're really kind of getting a little bit into the sinus cavities here, finding that nice release and openness. Keep your face nice and relaxed as you're doing this. You can really receive that release. Now, fingertips into the forehead. We're just going to do a nice light scrubbing up and down, letting your breath release. And we're just kind of moving things around, moving the lymph under the skin, getting those lines to release a little bit in the creasing of the skin. And then coming to the outside of the eyes, very, very light on the temples here, softly, almost not even touching the skin, very surface of the skin circling. And then we'll continue down. Now we can use more pressure. We can palpate with our fingers. Relax your jaw. You're letting your jaw hang a little. And you're going to massage in between the upper and lower jaw on the sides here. And of course, you can move around and explore where it feels a little bit more necessary for your touch to go. And again, wherever you're touching on your body, you're using a sense of breath through that touch. So there's a sense of expanding and releasing, and you're really trying to, a popular word that practitioners use is listen to your body. So that if that relates to you, so yes, it's listening, it's trying to sense, it's trying to acknowledge and bring up what you need, where you need to go, and what you need to do. We're going to go up above the ears into the scalp, like you're washing your hair or scrubbing on your head, a nice little lifting up above the ears. We're going to go around the ears, tracing around that perimeter of the ears towards the back of the head. And this is all getting a nice little pressure release with a lifting motion. And then coming around to the back of the head, right into where the bottom of the head and top of the neck meet, right? There's a nice little crease there if we sort of move our heads, and that's the occipital zone. We're going to massage side to side. So feel that you're breathing into your hands with your body. Wherever you're touching, you're sort of going into your hands a little bit to let that release come through. Go a little bit wider out to the sides, breathing into that. And then coming back in close to the spine, now we're going to take deeper circular motions. We're going along the sides of the spine and down the back of the neck. So we're starting at the top and just breathing into that, working our way down. You can kind of move your head around and adjust here, feeling that you're just kind of relaxing your muscles a little bit more with that. Now, let's give a little more attention to our C7. Once we get down to the bottom of the neck, if you drop your chin forward, just your head, you're going to feel that one vertebrae protrudes more, right? You want to locate that C7 vertebrae. That's where your cervical spine begins. From there, going upward. We're going to relax, and you want to actually, like a star, you're going to make a nice star from this vertebrae, pull out and around in every direction. So you can go on the diagonal, you can pull away to the sides. So you can go right on top of that vertebrae and just sort of focus on that little transitional point there. There's sort of like a junction point we want to release. And then we're going to dig our fingers around the top of the shoulders, over the traps, and just breathe out, sweep over, and shake the tension and stress off your hands. And then again, we're going back over the shoulders and take a nice exhale and sweep and just let it go. One more time, going back. Feel that your breath releases and sweeps away any tension or tightness and letting it shake off your hands. Now, using the breath, we're going to interlace the hands. Breath comes from the inside, like you're yawning in the morning. We're going to lift up from the inside, reaching the arms up. Feel that lift from that low belly area. Imagine the line. We're yawning through the midline here. So we're lifting up from the pelvis out through the arms. We're going to wiggle through that, breathe through that. So the midline is that sort of energetic line right where your spine is, right in the center of your body. Sometimes, it can change a little bit, especially if you have, if you have a lot of scoliosis, that midline might be a little bit different. But essentially, it's our sense of center, and our sense of center without holding. We can move it, we can breathe through it, we can grow through it. And then we're going to come back through center. Relax your tail, keep your fingers interlaced, just let your arms drop down. We're hanging down and relaxing the shoulders. We're going to just take a nice little sweep, circle around. We're poking that one elbow up so we can breathe through the side ribs. We're going to focus on the chest cavity expanding. Exhale, relax your shoulders, let that massage come through, around and forward. Inhale, so we're going to breathe through the side ribs like a nice webbing, expanding and up. Elbows are wide to massage the shoulder blades around the back, and then forward and down. Inhale through the side and up, and exhale over, around and forward. Inhale through the side and up. And we're going to change. Exhale over the other way and forward and down. Finding your elbow, inhale through the side ribs, expanding and up. And exhale over and forward and down. And again, inhale through the side and up. And exhale over. So we're just letting the shoulder blades, the scapula, massage and move around the back ribs. We want them to mobilize. And then find that midline breath from the base of the spine, lifting you up from inside, feeling that lift with your breath, with your body, and separate the fingers and just find a nice little circling through the wrists, through the fingers. So we're keeping that internal lift as the arms release and just hang down. And then we relax. So now we're going to bring the feet out. Let's do a little shake out here, releasing through the backs of the knees. So now we're going to stretch from one side to the other. We're still thinking, let's bring the right foot forward, right hand up. Your other hand's behind you. just giving you, again, your midline now is from the feet all the way through and up, right? So we're going to breathe through the midline to expand. We're extending more. Let this arm hang so you feel your shoulder blade drop and the underarm opens, and then we'll change to the other side. So we're feeling that we connect through the center to open and expand and release and change. Anytime you have that nice expansion quality, there's always a place where it comes from that's connected, right? So you can't have one without the other. We have to find that balance where we're breathing through it and release and change. So we feel a little bit more breath coming right through the front of the chest. Widen out through that arm and release and change. And I'm kind of breathing through my feet a little bit here. You can take that as well. That back palm is just pushing you over the tail a little bit more to yawn through. Now we'll take both arms up, both feet, and both hands circling, breathing through the wrists and ankles. And we're just finding this nice expansion, fingertips and toes. We're going to circle and make our way to hang down, relaxing your hands on the floor, relax your head, and just let the weight of your head release. As you exhale through the nose, gently drop the head, breathing out, and just finding a little extra tension release there from the weight through the bones. Letting the breath come through into your back a little bit. Maybe it's your neck, maybe it's your lower back. And then just hang here. We're going to sway the head from one side to the other, breathing and shifting and feeling that the weight of the head gets a little bit into those creases and crevices. We're letting that shifting from one sitting bone to the other come through, feeling that we're gliding and dropping down. And we want to feel nice and heavy through the bones. We're going to use a little breath through the low belly where we lift one hip up and walk backwards. So there's a little scoop through the low belly that walks and shifts our hips. We're breathing into the sacrum, into the tailbone, and dragging the legs along the floor, letting go of the legs to release from the hip, dragging. Now let's come forward. We're going to push down to go over. Again, we're walking from our hips. We're walking from our sitting bones. So usually we walk from our feet, right? Or we think we do. We're trying to shift in the hips to release through the low back and sort of get things moving a little bit here. Sometimes there's a lot of tightness holding in there and everything else has to compensate. And then we're just going to relax and hang down. Let the breath go, releasing your head here. As the breath comes in, draw your tail down through the floor. Feel that long tail going down as the breath comes in and up along the front of your spine. So you're feeling that lifting up inside and the length down through the back and letting that open your posture through the top easily. And then just relax that. You can soften that. Now from here, we're going to do a little bit more of a scoop through the low belly. We'll take our fists and just drum right into that sacrum, right into your tailbone, all around the sides, getting into the perimeter there. Go into your glutes a little bit. Your posterior hip muscles is what your glutes are. We're going to just sort of drum and move all around there, trying to let go of anything that's sort of holding on around the bones, around the joints or closer to the joints. Now we're going to come up the sides of the spine towards your kidneys and the low back. Yeah, feeling that you can release through the shoulders here. And we're going to come back down and just patting and dropping right down into the back sides of your hips. So we're on the hip sockets here. We're not necessarily on the legs, although we're going there. We really want to get a nice release through the back side hip area where the joint moves around, right? Where all the muscles pull the joint in and out and all around. It's a ball and socket. Now we're going to open the palms. Now we're going down the sides of the legs. We have this sort of fluffy type motion. We're scooping and relaxing. We want the muscles to really shake off of the bone. And we're going down that IT band line. So that line, if you have pants on with a line down the side, you're imagining that's where you're going down the sides of your legs here. And then we're coming really close to the knees. We're still on the quads. We're just going to take our little fists and pat above the knees. This is where all the muscles, the area where your muscles attach into your knee joints. And then we'll go right on top of the knees. So you're just sort of waking things up and releasing any holding and tension. All of this vibration stimulates your nervous system and sort of, plays around with the connections that might be a little bit sleepy or, whatever balance that needs to happen. It's just sort of helping that along a little bit here. Maybe even some fluid into the joints is coming in more easily. We're going to tap through our fingertips. Feel that vibration go right into your kneecap, right into the patella. So now this is a little bit more acute, right? We're right on a bone, tap, tap, tapping. And that sound, that vibration goes right into the joint. And that can bring more fluid into your joints, just doing that. We're going to tap down the shin bones, all the way down the shins to the ankles, if you can reach there, and tapping back up the shins again. And now from here, we're going to go into the thighs. Use the heels of the hands right at the top of the hips, into the hip flexors, the creases. Take a good flushing massage downward. So you're going around the sides, a little outside, little inside. These are large muscles, long muscles, and you're really trying to get a good flush here. You're going to feel a little lumpy, so you want to try to relax your muscles as much as you can. They cross and intertwine around the bone, so don't worry about feeling lumps in your legs. I've had that comment so many times, but it's normal. You can just Google it. Look at what the anatomy looks like. It's, crisscrossed. So now we're going to take our hands nice and loose, and we take that fluffing around the outside of the shin bones. So these are the peroneals. These are big stabilizers, and we just want to kind of breathe and pat and release and let go of any tension that they're holding, letting that communication between the knees and the ankles come through a little more easily in our balance, right? Trying not to throw us off by something that's tight, that happens commonly. And then we're going to come around and bring the feet back in. So now we want the knees to kind of hang out to the side. Use the tops of the hands. We go along the inner leg from the hips with this downward flushing motion. We're releasing into this adductor line of the leg. So all of these muscles that come underneath and wrap around, some of them wrap from the hamstrings into the knees. We're going down these inner thighs towards the knees. And then eventually we're going to gently flex our heels, slight engagement in our calves, take a fist, and exhale, drop into your calves. So we're going to breathe out, letting that go, letting any tension and tightness in the calves just kind of move around laterally a little bit. And if you're really tender here, you can go with that lighter drop. You're not as much force with more repetition here. So we're just going to breathe into that. You can actually go right underneath into the bottom of the calves where our soleus is, and then even leading into your Achilles area. We can kind of get into that. And then from here, take your hands back, relax the legs out, do another shake out on the floor. So we're just breathing and shaking out. You can shift your tail, shift your shoulders, and just kind of wiggling anything that's holding on, letting that go. We're going to take one knee up, take your right leg up, inhale. We're going to exhale, a little gathering through the low belly. Then let the leg release long. Inhale up. And again. So we have that image of the midline, right? Even though we're not trying to control it. We're going through it. We're releasing the leg through the midline, a sense of the midline. And your body is kind of doing whatever I like to call it untangling. sort of a neurological untangling by using our breath. And then just relax your legs, let them hang. We're going to do little tiny little taps. We're just moving and shifting through the bones. You want to feel a little tap through the big toes. You're using as much force as you are comfortable with, right? So everybody has their own comfort level, and you want to relate to your own body. You want to try and figure out what feels good to you. If something doesn't feel good, you're not going to force it. There's no point. You know, we're not of the no pain, no gain group. I don't know, you don't have to do that. So now we're going to bring both feet back in, and we're going to just take a nice little rolling around through the ankles. Yeah, so we're just massaging and moving and breathing, starting to focus on our feet. And then we're going to relax the feet on the floor, and we'll take a nice little massage underneath your ankle bone into the inside of your heels. So, where you feel that crevice, where that line where your heels move through, and also along the inside of the arch of the foot here. So this is the adduction line of the foot. This is a place where our ankles roll in and weaken quite often, right? Depending on also what's going on through the upper leg and through the knees. We want to make sure that there's some awareness here, that there's some sort of proprioception, and even if you're not aware of it, there's so many things to think about in your head. Let your nervous system do some of the work, right? So now we're going to just massage underneath the feet. So you don't have to be completely cognitive if you practice all of this all the time or more regularly, right? It becomes automatic the more you practice. I think there's some crazy number like 2,000 repetitions to change a neurological pattern. I don't know, in the biomechanics at least. So we're just going to mush around, massaging underneath the feet, and then taking that nice little massage. So you have your bones, your metatarsal bones on the feet leading into your toes. We're going to massage on the underneath side and just sweep, give a little lengthening, kind of like a little pulling out of your toes. So you get some space and length there coming from your foot into your toes. And then take your hands underneath the balls of the feet. We're going to hold space, relaxing your feet, hold space in between the toes, and just breathe into that for a moment, feeling that you're letting that openness come between the toes, letting the whole foot relax with that. Take your hands away, bring your palms back behind. We're going to bend both knees. Now we have a little scoop under with our tail. We want to feel that we're gathering through the outsides of the hips, through the sits bones, into the midline, right? So we're going to exhale and walk through the feet, through that midline. Imagine that you're digging your feet, heel, balls of the feet, toes, and use your toes to pull up and forward. So we have this doming. We're going to exhale, feel a connection from that low belly all the way to your toes. So we're sending the breath down the legs, out through the toes. And then once you've gotten too far away, we're going to reverse, start with the toes going over, drag back through the heels. Make sure that your arches are completely relaxing and melting into the floor, especially if you have high arches, you have more tension there. So you want to let that breathe and expand and up and over. And then you can work on the articulation through your toes, leading through your whole foot. So we're using the whole foot now. We're going to go forward again. Exhale, toes go wide and walk. And again, you can think of like little froggy feet, spreading your toes, using your toes to walk. And again, exhale and walk. And then just relax. If you get little crampies in your feet or whatever, that's fine. This will help, eventually. We're going to now bring the feet back into your comfy position, relaxing in the sits bones. And we're just going to take a nice massage through the chest cavity, flushing and breathing up around the sides of the ribs. This is called the happy hamster. We're going to let the breath in. And exhale. So as we inhale, we feel this lateral expansion. So if you look up what engages while we breathe, the lateral muscles contract as we inhale, and then that we have that diaphragmatic drawdown on the exhale, right? So that's more vertical in the body. So know that you're actually working muscles when you work your inhalation. You're letting things work more in either direction. We're going to take our hands down into the front of the hips, into this front hip area where there's lots of little lymph there, and just kind of flushing there and then coming up right into the center of the chest, our sternum. We're going to just do a little kind of scrubbing up and down, letting the breath out and letting that tension release in here. You can sort of move around, and that helps let go of your shoulders a little bit. And then we take nice long strokes from the ribs down into the low belly pelvis, and then go underneath the sides of the ribs, getting a little bit more space there, and then under the other side ribs, just kind of waking things up all around the body here. And then we'll come back to center, relax the arms, and relax your head over to one side. We're going to take the opposite hand and just massage into the front of the shoulder here. Again, another area where we have a lot of lymph that we can sort of affect with our touch. So we're breathing and sort of mushing around, trying to find any tension or tightness that's holding on. You can move your head and then relaxing and hanging over the other way, breathing and massaging into this, moving the head around, letting that release come through. A nice little massage. You can go close to your clavicles here, your collarbones. Usually when you get closer to an area with bone or a joint, those are attachments that, might be a little bit tighter and might feel a little bit better in terms of releasing. So sometimes you can just focus on those little areas, and then the larger muscles let go. So, that's another way to approach it. We're going to exhale and drop up and over and feel that nice, just padding through the palm, sweeping up and over the shoulder, getting a nice sense of breath into your upper back ribs and lungs here. And just sort of not feeling like your head has to do anything big here. We're just letting our hand, again, the breath is traveling through your palm as you go up and over. You can move your hand around and then relax back through center. We're going to let the tail soften and round under. We're going to gather that breath. Inhale, pull the breath in and up. Inside the body is what's lifting you. Inhale, lift up and up and up. We're going to stay lifted as we exhale, let the arms go. So we feel that energy up through the midline, down and out through the arms. Let's try that again. Relax. Feel the breath inside your body gather you and lengthen you up. Feeling that space and length between each little vertebrae. Lifting on the inhale. And let the arms go. One more time. Soften the tail. Breath brings you up. You have your long tail going down and out, and release. Now we just shake it all out. Shake through the shoulders, the elbows, the wrist, finding that breath releasing through the back. And we want all of the tissue, the muscles, to shake off the bone, especially down into the forearms and the wrists and the hands here, getting any tension that's being held there to just kind of soften up and release a little. And then we're going to feel that fuzziness and interlace the fingers and just kind of mush around here, getting a little compression and release, relaxing the shoulders. You can shear the heels of the hands maybe a little bit forward and back. And then relaxing through the wrist, we're going to just roll around here. So you can draw your shoulders, your shoulder blades a little bit down. When you think of the shoulders, if someone says, draw your shoulders down or drop your shoulders down. It's from your wings, your scapula in the back. That's what they should be talking about. If you're thinking about the tops of your shoulders, that can add so much more tension. It's your back. You want to draw down into your back and then find that release and then go the other way. So everything can sort of live more open around that connection. You're just sort of turning the key and then release. Open the palms and just feel that nice opening and closing. Breathe from the center of the palm out and collecting in. And now we're going to do our compression breath. So we're going to let the breath expand out through the body. Breath floats you up and open like balloon. Now we're going to take a long exhale, emptying all the breath out. We're going to squeeze through the fingertips, the toes, the eyes. Use that breath from that low belly, the dantian. We're squeezing the breath out, squeezing the breath out, squeezing out anything negative, physical or emotional, until you don't have any more breath left. As the breath comes in, feel that expansion and lightness. And again, exhale. So we're gathering through the nerve lines and drawing that sort of cleansing out. Exhale, using the breath just to make space for new things to come in. One more time, long exhale. And on this last one, we're going to exhale, but this time we're gathering light new energy through the fingertips and toes, drawing that new energy into the center, using the breath, enveloping it. And just floating up and just releasing anything that was kind of holding on there. So now from here, let's interlace our fingers, bring the palms behind the head. We want to go low into the back of the head here so that your head can rest into your hands. You're not on your neck. You're on the base of your skull, a little bit higher. You're holding your head. And we're just going to find that nice release. Feel again your tail drawing down long. Breathe your head into your palms as you draw that tail down. And just take a nice little lengthening, sweeping the palms up and opening out, around, and down. We're going to now let the breath come in and up through the spine and out through the eyes. Very soft and gentle. You're going to use your eyes to just look around the room. You're scanning the room and turning your head, using your eyes to turn your head to one side, thinking of that breath through the midline. And again, using the breath. So there's a coordination from the inside coming through to the outside. And then also in the reverse, you want to receive through your vision, coming back into your body. And again. Now we're going to let that sense of expansion through the vision come through. So you're looking out beyond the space you're in, beyond the room you're in. You're looking out into a far distance, a horizon. And again. And letting the breath gently bring you back to center. We're going to take a deep breath in, draw the breath up from the base of the spine. We're going to inhale and hold the breath and close the eyes. We're going to let it come in and up. And exhale, releasing the eyes open. You can kind of blink there a little. We're going to just kind of sweep around the eyes and just sweep away any little energetic cobwebs here, releasing out of that. And now taking nice little pats through the crown of the head, moving around, tapping, coming around to the back of the head, and then sweeping up and relaxing and just shaking it out there. And release. Good. So now we're going to come around onto hands and knees, and we're going to just take one foot back behind you, tucking your toes under, and glide back. And change. Other foot, tucking the toes. Exhale, glide. And change. And again, toes tuck under, tail goes long. And change. And again, toes under, tail goes long to your heel. And back in. So now from here, we're going to lift the heels, tuck the toes under. Take your hands really close to the knees. If your knees are okay with this, you're going to push all the way back, tail hanging over your heels, letting the knees open out to the sides a little bit so your hips can relax. And let your arms hang over the legs, relaxing your head down. We're just going to, release the tail, hang over. You can use your hands to shift your body weight a little bit here. And then take your hands really close to the toes. Take a deep breath. And we're going to exhale, push the floor away and stretch through the legs. Relax. You can separate your feet. You can shake your legs out a little bit here. And just hang over, relaxing through your head. See if you can hang your tail back over your heels like a plumb line again. We're going to hold onto the elbows and just breathe, gently pulling your elbows down towards the floor. So we're breathing out and feeling that length release through the head and the back of the neck up into the upper back. Relax the arms, letting them go, and find that nice lift through the upper belly. We're going to lift the upper belly to the ceiling, feeling that your tail, your sacrum draws down. We're just breathing in and up along the spine to roll up. Long tail down. And then just feeling that sense of length through the front of the hips here. As you come all the way up, we're just going to find a nice little relaxing and releasing through the shoulders, rolling around, letting the breath come in. And find that sense, even though we were on the floor the whole time, we have a nice sense of length that's stacked in the body. We're going to bend the knees, interlace the fingers, turn the palms forward, and just take a nice stretch all the way up. We're going to do a little shift over and then through center, and you're shifting your hip over and through center. Feel your sacrum go down through your heels as you reach up. And then just open the arms, feel the chest breathe open, the arms float open, relaxing the arms down and just rolling through the shoulders and just kind of shaking that out and just take a nice little walk out of that. Yes, good. So yes, I realized I made a really big boo-boo today. I did this class on the wrong Instagram account. Oh, well. I think I'll just put it on both then. All right, thank you so much. This is usually on my Homebody Studio account. So Wednesdays at 12 o'clock Eastern time. And I'll see you next week. Have a good week, everybody. Thank you. Bye.